Welcome back to KGSM-TV. I'm Reese Payne.
And I'm Harry Loomis.
As Easter is this upcoming weekend, the on-campus Christian Fellowship group gathered to host a spring jam worship session in the lobby of Blum. Here's how it went. On April 5th, in the Blum lobby, the on-campus Christian Fellowship group gathered to spread the love of God. The spring jam here on campus was a combination of 4 different Christian fellowship groups. The event was hosted to spread the gospel of Jesus right before Easter and hopefully spread the word to some people who have not given their lives to Jesus yet. Spring Jam attracted many people and gave students the chance to spread their love for God here on our own campus. After a great day of worship and spreading the love of God, this is Reese Payne reporting for KGSM-TV. For more information about the Christian Campus Fellowship Group, follow their Facebook page at Christian Campus Fellowship at Missouri Western State University. Looks like this was a great opportunity for students to express their faith here on campus.
Easter weekend is just around the corner. For some, this is a time of the Easter Bunny, finding hidden eggs, and chocolate. However, the origin and development of Easter is quite different. Around this time of year, pagans would have a festival to celebrate the spring equinox. This was considered a sacred time for this group of people. After the advent of Christianity, Easter was created and associated with the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Many Christians and Catholics still celebrate Easter as a time of celebration, for it is the day Jesus rose again. Eggs were introduced to Easter Sunday during the Middle Ages. Many would decorate and then eat eggs after Mass. This was considered a sort of treat after having fasted for Lent. With the commercialization of the holiday, it became more secular for many people. Regardless of how you celebrate Easter, it is typically a time of joy and community. We here at KGSM-TV wish you all a very happy Easter.
Here are the top stories from the past week. Donald Trump, the former U.S. president, was arrested on 34 felony counts of business related to fraud. On Tuesday, he was officially charged with these 34 counts of fraud. The court released him, and Trump flew back to his home in Florida. We will keep you updated in the upcoming months on this case. Over 200 bills that would limit the rights of LGBTQ+ people have been proposed by the state lawmakers this year. A majority of these bills are specifically anti-transgender, and some medical professionals are concerned about the effect this will have on suicide rates if they were to be passed. According to a study that was performed by Deanna Tordoff and others, gender-affirming care over the course of a year has been proven to reduce the odds of depression in youths by 60%, and the odds of suicidality by 73%. We will keep you updated on the progress of these bills. KGSM-TV will keep you up to date with more top stories in our next show. Be sure to stay tuned after the break.
The Missouri Department of Conservation is located on Missouri Western's campus at 701 James McCarthy Drive. All you have to do is open the door and walk in. Once in, you will see all the sorts of animals, live animals, and rawr. Anyways, here's another snake. And a fish, so cute. Outside, you can see ponds, trees, and walking trails. There are even activities for kids. Stop by sometime between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Go Griffs!
Hi, I'm Teresa Harrington. I am the founder of Creatures by Teresa, and what we do is we have a small animal rescue that we take in all the small animals, no dogs and cats, rabbits, reptiles, fish, birds, things like that. We have a Facebook page, we have a website, and we have put all our animals up for adoption on Pet Finder. So that way people can see what we have up for adoption. But our adoption events and our library and school programs are our greatest fundraisers right now. We also do things like we will bring animals to birthday parties and things like that, so that, the kids can get an up close personal experience with some of the animals that they may not.
2,900 home clothes dryer fires are reported each year and cause an estimated 5 deaths, 100 injuries, and $35 million in property loss. When we hear the words home fire prevention, we often think of lit candles, grease fires, and electrical fires. However, one of the most common house fires comes from unclean dryer vents. Dryer lint is highly flammable. It is recommended the dryer vents are cleaned every 6 months. Call your local HVAC services or fire department for more information on how to clean your vents.
Welcome to KGSM Sports. I'm Kenan Bielovats.
I'm Harry Loomis, and today we're going straight into the Sports Roundtable. And if you can't tell by the collection of hats here, our subject is baseball. We were not able to do a MLB season recap last week. We are going to do that today, season preview, I should say. Kenan, you and I, we're both from St. Louis, big St. Louis Cardinals fans.
Of course.
We watched a lot of that season opener against the Toronto Blue Jays. They took 2 out of 3 in that series. Got swept by the Atlanta Braves. What's been your biggest takeaway so far from that team?
So far, the biggest takeaway is our offensive power. 1 through 9, it is the most complete in the majors. You have Dylan Carlson, Nolan, Gorman, Goldschmidt, and then you have the emergence of Jordan Walker, who you and I have both been high on.
Oh, yeah.
But the Achilles heel of this team is definitely the pitching. That first game against the Blue Jays, I think we gave up 16, 17 hits. We won that one, but you can't allow that against a great team like Atlanta. They swept us because our pitching was horrible.
Yeah, simply put, starting pitching hasn't been good. That was a concern coming into the year, especially with Adam Wainwright going on the injured list. Jack Flaherty is on the hill tonight in Milwaukee. We'll see how he does. But I got to agree with you. The offense, 1 through 9, it's got a really good case for the most complete lineup in Major League Baseball. You know, one player that I was really high on this year, wasn't really sure what to expect, was Nolan Gorman. You know, he came in, he was a big prospect before Jordan Walker. Last year, he had some pop to him, didn't really have the sustained success that we were expecting. This year, I think the pressure's off of him a little bit. Now he's just another guy in that lineup, batting 6-hole. He looked outstanding in that series against Toronto, but we will, the big question, like we said, is the starting pitching.
Right, but two home run shots. I mean, the sky's the limit for that kid.
Absolutely, he's got unreal pop. Like
I think you had him as like a potential MVP candidate one day.
One day, absolutely. I don't see why. He's got so much raw power, and he can play any position with the universal DH now. He's not going to get a lot of infield time with Tommy Edman, Brendan Donovan, Nolan Arenado on the infield. You know, that's a really star-studded infield like we got.
Arguably the best defensive infield in the majors.
Absolutely. Let's move on to, you know, it's obviously not just the Cardinals that have been in action so far. We've seen a couple big moments so far, 8 games into the season. What's been your biggest takeaway so far?
So far, my biggest takeaway is the Baltimore Orioles catcher Adley Rutschman.
Rutschman, yes.
Rutschman, sorry. 5 for 5 opening day. He's been hitting consistent. I think right now he's batting 317 plus. I mean, the kid was a formal first overall pick. Tag team him along the side of Matt Holliday's son, who he got drafted first, I think, was it?
That's right, yeah.
Baltimore is set for the future with those two.
Their rebuild is going very nicely. Adley Rutschman is the centerpiece of that rebuild. He looks absolutely fantastic. First opening day, that's a big spot for any young catcher. To go 5 for 5 against the Boston Red Sox ball team, very, very impressive stuff. What I've been impressed by so far is the Atlanta Braves. We saw it firsthand. They swept us. Austin Riley and Matt Olson in particular, the Braves' third baseman and first baseman, both of those guys have as good a case as anybody to win MVP. Riley went yard twice in the first inning of the first 2 games of that series, hit one 473 feet. That is measured by some to be the longest home run by an opponent in the history of Busch Stadium 3.
I remember you showed me the video. I'm like, wow, he just hammered that ball. I think it escaped the stadium too.
Clear the bleachers over the left field bullpen.
Oof.
It was
that was one heck of a shot.
Yeah, very impressive shot nonetheless. Moving on now, talking about some streaks getting broken. We saw last year the Seattle Mariners hadn't made the playoffs since that 116-win season in 2001, Ichiro Suzuki's rookie year. They finally made the playoffs again as a wild card, won their wild card, made it to the DS. First time in the playoffs since 2001. We've seen a lot of playoff streaks finally come to an end. The Sacramento Kings, even in the NBA, are finally in the playoffs for the first time since 2006.
Light the beam.
Light the beam. Right now, the 2 teams with the longest playoff droughts are the Detroit Tigers and the LA Angels, both of whom haven't made it since 2014. Kenan, which team has a better chance to make it sooner?
Without question, it's the Los Angeles Angels. You have 2 of the top 5 players in baseball in Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. The Tigers, they have a long way to go. The sky is the limit. They do have some exciting people in their farm system down in the minors, but right now the Angels have to get their stuff together and they have to make the playoffs, because if you don't make the playoffs this year, Trout, think about leaving, Ohtani leaving. If you allow both of them to leave, you don't have a team. They are your team, because Shohei does it on the mound, does it in the hitting box as well, in the batter's box, and Mike Trout is arguably one of the greatest hitters that you have ever seen. But the pressure is on the Angels to make it to the playoffs.
Absolutely. This is the year for the Angels. They are in a much more urgent situation than the Tigers, I would argue. You know, in my opinion, you said two of the top 5 players. I would say Ohtani, Trout still to this day. You can argue Aaron Judge. Those are the 2 best players in all of MLB right now. They can just do so many different things. Ohtani's number 1 without question, in my opinion.
100%.
And on paper, they've got a really good lineup. If Anthony Rendon stays healthy and reverts back to his Washington days, he is a great, great third baseman, was an MVP contender for some years. Jared Walsh is another good piece there. They have the pieces. I know the AL West is tough. The Astros are the Astros. The Mariners are going to be good. The Rangers are surging. But this is the year. They're off to a 4-2 start. They've got to find a way to maintain some success because Trout's not going to be happy if they don't make it. And Shohei Ohtani, sure as heck, is not going to stay and sign a big-time contract with this team.
100%, but it's their consistency. That's been the problem for the last decade. They got to get it together, like you said.
Absolutely. Give me a bold prediction and then give me your World Series matchup for the year.
All right, well, I have 3 bold predictions. 1, I have Aaron Judge hitting 70 home runs.
Wow.
Look, for opening day, first pitch he saw, knocks out the ballpark. He had 60 plus last year. He's going to hit 70. Number 2, the Kansas City Royals, they're not going to get 65 wins plus. That team is a atrocious roster. There's no fan support. I think opening day they had 16,000. Next day they had 14,000. I think right now
They've been hovering around 10,000.
Right, yeah, I think last night was, not last night, the last game was 8,000. So the Royals are a dumpster fire. But my bold World Series prediction, I might get a lot of hate on this, but I had the Yankees beating the Astros.
Wow.
Streaks have to come to an end, and I believe that Aaron Judge will have another MVP season. He's going to get rid of those demons that haunted him in the past. It'll be Yankees versus the Braves. Now, Harry, I know both of us being from St. Louis, you're probably going to hate me for that, but the Braves just are the more complete team in our league. But if the Cardinals get good starting pitching, then they can make it. But if I'm looking at it right now, I got to go Yankees, Braves, and I got Yankees winning it.
You know, it's kind of the unstoppable force versus the immovable object in a
100%.
way. You know, the Yankees, when healthy, Carlos Rodon and Garrett Cole has the potential to be the best 1-2 combo in the major leagues. And the Braves, along with the Cardinals, you can make an argument, best 1 through 9 in Major League Baseball. They looked outstanding in that series against St. Louis. No reason why they can't replicate it, especially the disappointment of losing to your rival, the Phillies, in the NLDS last year. I think it's a really good pick. I only have one bold prediction this year, and that is actually a prediction I made with Reed Gregory on this production in 2021. I picked Juan Soto to win the National League MVP. In my opinion, he is the best and one of the most underrated hitters in the National League. He can hit for average. He can hit for power. He's young and he controls the plate better than anybody. He knows how to take a walk. He is just an outstanding player on a juggernaut of a San Diego Padres team. I think they're going to be very fun to watch, and he's going to be the centerpiece of that. I think he's better than Manny Machado. I think he's better even when Fernando Tatis gets there. I think he's a more well-rounded hitter than Fernando Tatis as well. He is going to be my MVP. And my World Series prediction, you know, we talked about it. We're from St. Louis. I disagree with Kanan. I think that the Houston Astros will once again make it back to the World Series, their 3rd straight appearance, but they are going to run into a team that is a great 1 through 9, that is going to improve their starting pitching throughout the year, that is going to send Adam Wainwright out as a champion. Ladies and gentlemen, I am picking the St. Louis Cardinals to defeat the Houston Astros in the World Series.
That would be one heck of a series. Me personally, I would love to see Yankees, Cardinals, the history between those two teams playing at New York, playing in Busch Stadium. That would be beautiful to see.
That'd be awesome too. Absolutely. Historic cultures and 2 of the best fan bases in baseball. It's going to be a fun year. Kanan, you ready for it?
I'm excited for it. I can't wait to go to Cardinals games this summer. It's going to be one hell of a time.
It's going to be a great year. That's all we got. We will wrap up the show after this.
Hello, welcome to the esports arena. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, so you're just letting everyone in? Yeah.
Looking for a place to hang out, game, or just relax? The Griffin Esports Arena is open to all students. Head on over today.
As fun as college is, it can be a really stressful time.
It's easy to feel alone.
Even in full classrooms, sometimes it still feels like you have no one.
It's especially easy to feel isolated during these crazy times.
It's hard to recognize the signs when you don't know them.
Don't be afraid to reach out and get help.
There are always ways to get help on campus.
The counseling center is always ready to work with you.
There's also lots of ways to get help off campus.
There are several different hotlines you can reach out to.
Make sure to check in on your friends and family.
Keep an eye out for the signs.
There's no shame in recognizing that you're struggling.
There's no shame in asking for help.
There is no shame in taking care of yourself.
You and your mental health are the priority.
See the signs. Take action.
Take action.
Take action.
Take action.
Take action.
Take action.
I'd really encourage, if you need to talk to someone, reach out to us. That's what we're here for.
Coming up, we will have our usual segments such as top stories and history, as well as other news stories.
Kanan and I will be recapping Griffins softball, and it might just be a historic weekend for the team.
Be sure to stay up to date with all things KGSM-TV by following us on our Facebook and YouTube pages. We'll see you again on Friday. Have a happy Easter, everybody.